I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine and talking about a home show on the radio. And we are talking with Jay Miller with HWC Custom Cabinetry. How you doing, Jay?
Great, Tim. How about yourself today?
Good, thank you. Thanks for inviting us out to one of your more recent projects. We're in a beautiful beach home on Isle of Palms, and why don't we start by having you tell our listeners, viewers, and readers about the scope of the project. What did HWC Custom Cabinetry do for this for the homeowners here?
Sure, Tim. Glad you asked. We really came in and just provided a whole house solution for them. They came in wanting to build a house on the ocean front here, and then they also wanted to do it on a budget because it's not a primary residence, and something that would withstand the elements and whatnot, because here at the beach, I mean, if you're at the beach, you open the windows, right? So that can be pretty hard on things, but we help them design and provide cabinetry throughout the house, all their bathrooms, entertainment system, the kitchen here behind us, laundry room, guest bathrooms, kind of across the board.
Good deal. Well, we're going to have you take us on a tour of the kitchen here in a couple of minutes, and we'll, if we have time, we'll also take a look at some of the bathrooms and the entertainment center that HWC Custom Cabinetry built. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you, tell our listeners, viewers, and readers about your philosophy in terms of cabinet making and that kind of thing.
Yeah, certainly, Tim. Our philosophy really revolves around, we desire to provide the best value to our clients across the board. And we do that by several ways. We provide design services from beginning to end. The earlier we can get started with a client in the process, the better. We have time to help make intelligent recommendations, evaluate their design against what are good practices for a kitchen, national kitchen and bath standards, really help to solidify that. We also provide good quality domestic materials in all of that we build. We feel like the quality control that's involved in the harvesting, manufacturing, and distribution of materials here in the States is far superior to the stuff that gets imported. And as a result, we build a very high quality product. Now, people would think that would be very pricey as well. We work very hard in the manufacturing end of things to offset that through theory of constraints or Toyota production system manufacturing that I won't go into the whole thing of that, but in the short version, we just work real hard to eliminate waste throughout the whole process, whether that's just the motion of moving things, whether that's leftover materials laying around, people standing around, just different sorts of waste. And so we work hard to eliminate that. But that way we can offset some of that price in the domestic materials through our manufacturing and provide a really good value. So we aren't trying to be the cheapest game in town by any stretch, but we feel like we're certainly one of the best values out there.
But that ends up resulting in some cost savings that you pass on to the homeowners, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. Sure.
And you were telling me before we started the interview that when you were talking to the homeowner initially, before the homeowner had made the decision to ultimately hire HWC Custom Cabinetry for all of the cabinetry needs, through those conversations, you happened to both realize that you were both Christians. How did that affect the process?
That's a good question. It's hard to always put a tangible thing on those sorts of relationships, but I think it was very important. I mean, not just between us, but it was because, he had a level of trust in us and what we were going to do. He was handling the job from out of town and was only here occasionally, so he had to place a lot of faith and confidence in what we were doing would be proper. Across the project. There are always opportunities in these sorts of things to take advantage of somebody that could be exploited by somebody that didn't subscribe to those sorts of values. So, yeah, certainly our faith in Christ was very important, I think, in our relationship and just a level of trust throughout the whole project.
What did you've spoken to the homeowners since the construction has concluded? What have they been telling you about the cabinetry as far as their feedback?
They've been thrilled, especially his wife, and so that was who he was really wanting to wow, and I think we did that. So that, in fact, we're on the way over here today. I think I told you, and just he said, can you do that again for me? And, meaning another house, another project. And I said, yeah, we can certainly do something for you.
Well, that's the ultimate compliment, isn't it? When a customer will rehire a contractor.
That's right. That's right.
So you were telling me that the homeowners wanted a very clean, simple yet elegant, durable cabinetry product, but they also wanted it to be a good value. That because it is a second home. Not their primary residence. How were you able to accomplish that with this project?
Sure, that's a great question. We several ways. One is we use all two-part conversion varnish finishes in our finish process, which results in a very durable, strong finish, a lot better than lacquer, enamels, or other finishes that are out on the market. Essentially, if you think of like epoxy, it takes two parts, a hardener and a catalyst, you can get a really strong glue. Our finish is of the same sort of caliber as that, or works in a similar fashion. Some of the ways we help them save some money on the project, not just through the engineering end of things like we were discussing, but rather through the use of drawer systems, for example. We have a very value-priced drawer system called a Zargan drawer that is very functional, extremely strong. In fact, actually in my showroom, I'll actually hang on one of the drawers, my 200 pounds hanging on a 100-pound rated drawer, and then it continues to operate. And so that usually gets people's attention because you can't do that at home, not successfully usually. But so just some value engineering type things like that. Just the limited use of some of the refining details and stuff like that. So we put the money in really where you see it, and then use more functional, less expensive materials. Certainly, I wouldn't use the word cheap, but less expensive materials that were more suited for the space.
Right. So they could have spent twice as much to get the same look in these cabinets that they got here.
Very easily. I mean, we could have easily just changing the innards and really virtually no change to the exterior. Somebody could have spent almost twice as much.
That's great. Well, why don't you have us take us on a tour here of the kitchen?
Okay, certainly. Well, we've got an island here. This was a little unique in the fact that we had to deal with a HVAC return here. Sure. And so we just, through the use of magnetic fasteners, very easily gave them a way that they can get access to that space down the road. I was telling you about drawer systems that we use. Very clean, simple. It's epoxy coated steel, so it wears very well. Very well. It doesn't suffer the wear and tear that a wooden drawer often would, especially with use or even in the changing climate here. You're here, very high humidity. Wood expands a lot and it'll contract a good bit even in the winter and stuff. So it's hard to work there. We have double bin trash pull out. Your waste and your recycling. We separate that always with a fixed shelf in between the trash and whatever you have above it. Nobody really wants their trash mixing with frequently their silverware in that drawer. But
what's the accent that we're seeing on the cabinets?
I'm glad you asked. I just totally missed that. But basically, it's our crystal white finish with a coffee glaze, and then everything gets clear coated. Again, in our two-part conversion varnish finish, we do all of that stuff in-house. And that's applied throughout. You look at the base molding detail, the end panel detail. We don't put just a flat end on there. It's very decorative, looks much like the cabinet doors. Sometimes we'll do an accent there, maybe a beadboard or something like that, to just provide a little different texture in the whole space. they went with a double bowl farm sink. He said he got a great deal on it, so he brought that down one day, said, this is what I want to use in my project. And so, as we typically do, said, great, we're happy to take care of that for you. One thing it's pretty unique to us, I don't really know of too many other folks doing it, but we use a two-part door system in our Lazy Susan corners. Does several things for you. One, it eliminates the hinge in the middle that so typically fails. And anybody that has this sort of Susan and has doors like that knows exactly what I'm talking about. So we've split that, hinge them on either side. So now you can open one door and have access to your stuff right there, or open them both and you have access to the whole back of the Susan. And then we also use, if you look throughout, there's very few doors other than those which pretty much are required in the corner, under the sink, under the range, drawers everywhere else. And that just provides you with a great amount of functional storage and space for everything. Very easy access to get to it and whatnot. So,
what about the corbels here?
The legs, just a nice decorative accent. We wanted to break it up. This is a pretty large kitchen, and it would get very monotonous just kind of having a big straight line of countertop and cabinet across here. So just some nice, very simple, elegant legs that kind of add a little decoration there to the cook area.
Did they have a designer that laid out exactly what they wanted as far as the kitchen goes, or did you help out the homeowners with the design?
We did most of the design work ourselves. Really, the homeowner, what's typical about our projects anyhow is the homeowner usually has an opinion about things, and we're happy to work with that and incorporate that. But we also balance that against what's good design, what's good function, what looks good. So we kind of bring it all to the table, and really it's a blend or a hybrid of what they want, what we're suggesting. We try to help keep them on the straight and narrow, but if they want purple and orange cabinets, we'll do purple and orange.
Mm-hmm. What were the, which of course is Clemson colors, right?
I didn't even pick that deliberately. It just kind of jumped into my head, but that's exactly right. I probably ought to be careful about that.
Right. You don't want to offend the Carolina fans.
No, I wouldn't want to do that. I have too many of them.
Jay, tell me about any challenges that you had to overcome with this project.
There's always challenges in a project. I think I mentioned the HVAC return was one that kind of got surprised on us at the last minute after everything was already kind of rolling. And then it's like, hey, we need to deal with this thing.
And the homeowners, just on the plans, they hadn't figured out where that return was going to go, and so that burden fell on your shoulders.
Nobody had figured out where it went. It wasn't just a homeowner. I don't know how something so significant really escaped notice, but it wasn't going to go in the elevator shaft, and so we kind of decided to put it there. So
made it work, and you certainly have enough cabinetry, and there's a pantry, a walk-in pantry. So there's I guess you could lose that cabinet space.
Oh yeah, and especially for a vacation home, but even if it was a primary residence, they have, with the added functionality that you get with all drawers like this in a kitchen, it's just amazing the amount of actual functional space that you get.
Any other challenges that you can think of? Is it difficult working with a customer that's out of town?
The builder was a little inexperienced on building residential projects, and so just kind of work with them. But we're all in this together to win, and so just kind of helped explain a few things, how the residential process really goes, because most people aren't really thinking about when cabinets go in if they're not a professional residential builder, and that's where they're going. So it's kind of like, oh, they just go in, right? And well, you're putting finished furniture in a house essentially, so you've kind of got to pay attention to those details.
Right. Well, let's take a quick look around at some of the cabinetry that HWC Custom Cabinetry built in some of the bathrooms and also the entertainment center.
Great.
Okay, tell us about the entertainment center here that HWC Custom Cabinetry built.
Well, you asked about problems a minute ago, and not a problem, but it's kind of a last-minute thing. Hey, we need an entertainment center to house our TV and stuff, and so we came up with this idea, kind of, again, mutual between the homeowner and I, but takes advantage of our same conversion varnish finish, a very simple door style that kind of keeps with the beach theme of the house.
Okay, great. Let's move on to the bathroom then. Jay, this is a very interesting looking vanity. Tell us about that.
It's just a real nice, elegant design. We've had a lot of requests for vanities of this style, but we just had a solid maple top and just a black frame underneath. Just a nice little piece of furniture for a powder bath.
And then adjacent to the powder room is the laundry room, and HWC Custom Cabinetry did all of the cabinetry in here as well?
That's right. Again, I mean, you can never have too much storage, right?
That's right.
And so talked and really just came up, let's keep the same theme we have on much of the rest of the house, nice and simple, very beachy.
Beautiful.
Hey, Tim, here's the downstairs master bath. Again, we're keeping with the same simple beach feel of the house, and but this is the downstairs master. And Tim, this is the upstairs master, very similar to downstairs. And much like the downstairs, we also included a linen cabinet there, so they've got plenty of storage for their towels and other necessities. And this is the main bathroom in the house, or I guess you'd call it the master suite. Got his and hers, and as he pans the different cabinets, I'm sure you'll figure out which one's is his and which one is hers. Yes, Tim, this is the Jack and Jill bathroom upstairs, and it's showcasing what I'd call our combination vanity. You've got a couple drawers on either side of the sink, and then the two doors open down below for a full access to the entire cabinet. There's no middle style that you have to contend with, so it's a good place. You can still store towels and things under there.
Well, Jay, quite a bit of custom cabinetry from HWC Custom Cabinetry in this beautiful beach house. Kind of sum it up for our listeners, viewers, and readers, where all the rooms that HWC has custom cabinetry in.
Certainly. Gosh, let's see. We have 6 bathrooms, laundry room, entertainment center, and the kitchen.
That's terrific. Well, tell everybody how they can get in touch with HWC Custom Cabinetry.
We can be reached at www.hwccustomcabinetry.com, or feel free to call us 843-207-0750.
Okay, well, we have been talking with Jay Miller with HWC Custom Cabinetry in a beautiful beach home on Isle of Palms that HWC Custom Cabinetry did all of the cabinetry for. Thanks so much, Jay.
Thank you, Tim. Have a great day.